A good relationship is not one that I satisfy all of my children's needs. A good relationship is one, the way that I see it, is that I'm the leader. The relationship is not equal, it's hierarchical, first of all. I am the one who has the bigger picture in mind. I have the bigger goal and I see the potential in them.
Yeah.
That they cannot see it right now. Of course, we are equals because we both are souls and we both are worthy as human beings, 100%. But we're not equal in the sense of our wisdom, our experience, our knowledge, our ability to see forward, our ability to see into the future, our ability to delay our gratification, our ability to know what's good for them. We're not equal in that sense. The parent has a vision of what is a good life for my child. I feel like what parents need nowadays more than ever is to trust their inner voice and don't be afraid to guide their children.
Welcome. I am Claudia Noriega-Bernstein, abundance coach, author, and host of the award-winning Don't Shrink to Fit podcast, which recently won the Woman in Podcasting Award in the coaching category. Over the past 15 years, I have the privilege of connecting with women from around the world, and I am here to share all the tools I have learned along the way to help you uncover new possibilities in your life. In this space, you will hear impactful stories from women who have walked in similar shoes, sharing their wisdom and insights. Together, we will explore your passions, reveal your inner gifts, and embrace possibilities you may not have thought were within reach. Let's grow beyond limits so you never have to shrink to fit again. Hi, everyone. I am so excited today. I'm excited in every show, but I'm so excited today because I have a dear friend of mine here today. Her name is Efrat Amira. She's a mom of 3 boys, a parenting coach, and the host of the Parenting Wisdom podcast. She is a lifelong learner and is always after the question, what can make a relationship with our kids better? And how can we raise children that will thrive in the world and help give them meaning and purpose in their life? So welcome, Efra. I'm so happy you're here.
Thank you so much, Claudia. I'm so happy to be here. You know how much I adore you and I love your podcast and your mission. So I really appreciate you having me here.
I think it's so, thank you. And I think it's so important that as moms, we are connected and we can help each other with whatever we discover is best for our kids. You know, somebody once asked me, how do you change the world? And I say, one kid at a time. That's that, you know. Let's start at the beginning. Let's start raising kids that don't have trauma. Let's raise kids that are not looking for the instant gratification, that they know how to wait, that they savor, you know, every moment they have. And this is a fast-paced world that we live in, and it's so hard because sometimes it slips through our fingers, you know. We do our best at home, and then they go to the world, they go to school, they go to the park and play with other kids, and they get a bunch of information that it doesn't serve them, right?
So true.
So going back to that question that you have, what can we make our relationship with our kids better? What would be your first advice for that?
Yeah. So first of all, I want to say that I learned a lot from you. You know, we talked about learning from each other, but when I saw the way that you parent your children, your girls, I admired that because I felt that you have this like internal compass. You have this, you're a confident leader for them. And you know how to set boundaries on the one hand and direct them to the right direction. And on the other hand, keep that connection with them and give them the support that they need, right? So it's not just like I'm imposing on my children all these high expectations, but I'm not also directing them to that and not giving them the support. you're actually what I saw you doing. That is why I wanted to have you on my podcast, is because I saw that you have both the high expectations and the high support that a good parent has to have. And I think that a relationship with our children, it's people define relationships in different ways, right? A good relationship is not one that I satisfy all of my children's needs, right? That's not a good relationship. A good relationship is one, the way that I see it, is that I'm the leader. The relationship is not equal, it's hierarchical, first of all. So I am the one who is setting the rules. I am the one who has the bigger picture in mind. I have the bigger goal and I see the potential in them that they cannot see it right now. So a good parent, so we're talking about relationship between parent and a child, which is different from a relationship when we are both equals, right? So between a parent and a child, we are not equals. Of course, we are equals because we both are souls and we both are worthy as human beings, 100%. But we're not equal in the sense of our wisdom, our experience, our knowledge, our ability to see forward, our ability to see into the future, our ability to delay our gratification, our ability to know what's good for them. We're not equal in that sense. So I think a good parent is a parent who knows how to lead their children, is a parent who sees in their child the potential and wants to draw that out of the child. And the way that you draw it out is by setting boundaries where boundaries need to be set, right? I can't have my child, okay, let's say like my end goal or one of my end goals, because it's not only one of my end goals is for my child to be healthy, right? Like this is a value for me. I know that being healthy is probably the most important thing in life, right? Because if they're not going to be healthy, they're not going to be able to do anything. So if my end goal is for them to be healthy, then right now I'm going to restrict what they eat and I'm going to cook good food. I'm not going to let them eat junk. I'm not going to let them eat candies and sugar nonstop. Although right now in this moment, it's what they want and what they feel like they need, right? They quote unquote need. But I know as a parent, I know the deeper need. I know what will happen if they behave that way. So that's why I'm restricting this behavior, because I have a bigger value, a bigger goal in mind. So the parent always has that bigger picture in mind, and that's that he goes towards, right? So the parent has, I would say, a vision of what is a good life for my child, right? It's not about, oh, that is a good life and this is a good life and that's an option and that's an option. No, I mean, there are some fundamental things that I know that if my child will have, he will have a good life. So I'm aiming towards that goal while I'm raising my children, and from that I make the decisions on my day-to-day life, on the minute-to-minute decisions that I make.
Absolutely. And I think it's very important. And thank you for what you said about me raising my girls. I feel that when I was a kid, I didn't have choices. And I think it's important to allow them to choose within a margin of things. So it's very different to say to a child, you're going to do this because I said so.
Mm-hmm.
And instead, what I used to do with my girls is I would give them options within my boundaries. So they always felt that they had the option to make a choice, but the choices were given by me. And when I was giving them those choices, they were choices that I felt they were safe for them, they were good for them. So it was, okay, and I mean, very extreme, but do you want broccoli or do you want cauliflower?
Mm-hmm.
No, they're both good for you, but you get to choose. You want the green vegetable, you want the white vegetable. Which one are you going to have? So they felt empowered because they were making a choice. And that way, their self-esteem is built because they're not always told what to do. They don't feel like they don't have the capacity or they don't have the power to make a choice. You know, I have a daughter that when she was little, it was very hard for her to make choices. And like going to school was so hard because she never knew what to wear. So I came up with an idea of taking Polaroids every time she would love an outfit, and I will put the Polaroid in the wall in her room. So every day that she was having a not such a great morning and she didn't know what to wear, she would go on those choices and pick one of the pictures that she liked, and that was her outfit. Instead of me saying, you have to go to school, just put anything, just put this on and have a fight, and and create this stressful moment for her, I would empower her. First, I would help her regulate her emotions, which I think is so important. And you talk about the emotional intelligence, and how important it is to empower kids to feel that their feelings matter. So I would first regulate her emotions, try to understand, why are you feeling this way? What is it that is triggering you? Are you upset about something happening in school, or you're just having an off morning? Let's figure this out, right? And then, okay, now let's figure out what you're going to wear, and it's your choice. And I think that right now in the world, people are so much in a hurry all the time that they don't pause to look at the kid and really see what's happening with the kid. And it takes really another 15 minutes in the morning. Get up 15 minutes earlier. Take care of yourself, journal, meditate, whatever it is, so you can be a better parent to that kid, and not just, download all your frustrations on that kid because maybe he's just not having a good morning. So
Yeah.
how do you work with your kids? And I know that you used to homeschool your kids, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, being a mom is a lot of work. People sometimes underestimate what it takes to really run a house and take care of everything, and hopefully allow every kid to feel seen and loved and understood, because we go to do a million things. But what do you use? What method do you use? Or how do you navigate that? How do you make your children feel seen and feel acknowledged and feel that it's okay to have those emotions and it's okay to express them?
Yeah, well, there's a lot to unpack here. You talked about choices. I think that the problem nowadays that kids have is that they have too many choices. And when a person has too many choices, it makes them confused and it makes them not confident.
Mhm.
So it is very true that we need to confine those choices. Let our kids know that they have agency, they have an option to choose, but that option is confined within the limits and the boundaries that I decided that are the good boundaries, right? What is good and what is not good. So I'm coming to my parenting with a moral stance, right?
Mhm.
So, for example, and maybe this is not going to be a popular opinion right now, but for example, for me, I won't let my boy dress up with a dress, right? Because I don't think that that's the right thing for him at age 4 or 5 or 6.
Mhm.
I think it's confusing for him, and maybe for other people it's okay, and I respect that. But I know what is my moral judgment, and I know what is my moral compass, and I'm gonna confine the choices inside that moral judgment. So I think the biggest problem today that parents have is that they have lost their ability to guide their children. They have lost their own moral compass. They don't know what their values are. They don't know what they stand for. They don't know what's right and what is wrong. And they're just so confused because there are so many things out there, right? There are so many podcasts and parenting books. And you can parent like that. You can parent like this. And it's just so overwhelming. And you end up just feeling always not good enough.
Mhm.
So I really invite parents to look inside, because I feel that each one of us has that moral compass from inside. What is
Mhm.
important to you? What is the future that you see for your children? What kind of family do you want to have? What kind of relationship do you want to have? What are the family rituals and traditions that you want to instill in your family? So it's kind of like first going a few steps back and look at the bigger picture. What is your end goal? And of course, it's not an end goal. There is the goal is you'll never achieve the goal,
It's the
but
next step.
exactly the next step. But you're always striving upwards. That the goal is to always strive upwards. And it comes from a belief that there is a good way to live, and you know what the good way to live is because you have experienced a lot of things already. You're an adult, right? You're a parent. You have to trust yourself that you have the inner knowing to guide your children. So I feel like what parents need nowadays more than ever is to trust their inner voice and don't be afraid to guide their children. There is this notion that nowadays we need to be judgment-free parents. I don't believe in judgment-free parents. I think that judgment-free parents, what they do is they think that they're not supposed to influence their children, right? Because the children need to be who they are, right? They came to the world, they need to express themselves, they need to be who they are. But when you come from a place where it's like, I'm judgment-free, I'm going to let my kid be whoever he is, the kid is looking for that authority. The kid need to know, who am I? Where did I come from? Where am I going? Right? And if the parent is not going to give that, they're going to seek for it outside, and they're going to find it. There are so many guides out there that are going to be happy to take your kids and to influence your children. There are so many influencers, right? But you want to be the influencer of your child. And the way that you will be the influence of your child is by knowing who you are, knowing what you stand for, knowing what's right or wrong, and guide your child within those boundaries. And of course, you always have to be self-aware and look at yourself and not be rigid. You always have to know if something isn't working. Is it me? Is it my expectations? Are my expectations wrong? Is he too young? Am I expecting something that he's not able to do right now? Or is my child suffering from something? Is something bothering him, right? Like you said. But we too easily we go to that fear of traumatizing our kids.
Yeah.
We fear that if we're gonna expect too much from them, if then we're not gonna, they won't feel heard, they won't feel seen. But that's actually not true, because what gives you a sense of identity, what gives you a sense of meaning, what gives you well-being and a good mental health is knowing that you are part of something. You are part of a bigger picture. You are part of a mission. You are part of a family. A person who has that backbone of a family can do anything, because my family is going to be there for me no matter what. And I know what my family stands for. And we are this, we are not that. So I'm going to make my decisions according to that, because that's morally good. That's what I know is morally good. That's what I've been taught in my family. And they will have plenty of time in their life to explore outside, and maybe they'll choose differently when they grow up, and that's okay. But you know that you gave them the foundation of what you think is true and what you think is right, and what you believe is going to lead them to a good life.
Yes, I agree with you 100%. Kids need structure. If they don't have structure, they feel lost. When my kids were little, their friends will come to my house, and apparently I have most rules than everybody else.
Yeah.
They didn't perceive it like that. They felt secure. They
Yes.
feel safe. They, even now that they're older, they know my mom has my back. My sisters are there for me. I might not like you all the time, but I'm going to love you all the time. And
Right.
what we have will be unbreakable because it's something that we have nourished since the beginning. And yet
Yes.
we have, like, I am a Latin person, I'm a Latin girl. I have a lot of traditions in my country, and I believe in things that maybe an American or a European person won't believe, or an Asian person won't believe, or an Indian person won't believe in. But I believe on those things. So I have taught my kids ways of doing things that are aligned with my beliefs, with what I feel is best for them. So, for example, when they were little, they were not allowed to go to sleepovers all the time. And they were not allowed to go to sleepovers when they were little. They were allowed to go to sleepovers when they reached certain age, when they were able to communicate whatever was happening. One of the reasons why I wrote the book Secrets Don't Include Mom is because I have that rule with my kids. No matter what they tell you, I'm not in that bunch. I'm excluded from it. You can always come to me and talk to me. We had a secret word. If my kid was not happy somewhere, she will call me and drop that word in the conversation, and I knew I had to go get her. So those are little rules that I had in my house. And I always believed that you want somebody to play the game, you got to teach them the rules. You cannot expect the kid to read your mind or to assume. So
Yes.
even now that they are adults, that bond still very important. They might not get along sometimes, they might have different opinions because now the three of them are adults, but at the end of the day, the core value still there. There are things that they're not going to do simply because it's not right, and they
Yeah.
don't care if everybody else is doing it. I used to tell my girls, good is good, even if nobody's doing it, and bad is bad, even if everybody is doing it. And when we talk about choices, I think that when you allowed a kid to make the choice and you empower them to make the choice, you're teaching them not only that they can have a choice, but they are capable to make the choice.
Yeah.
And my dad would do stuff like that with me when I was a kid. You know, I would go for an advice and my dad would say, okay, so I hear you say, and I was like, oh my God. And I think about it, right? Because we didn't hear that until a few years ago. So my dad was kind of ahead of time. And he'll say to me, okay, I hear you say A, B, and C. You asking me for my opinion? And I will go, yeah, I want you to tell me what to do. I'm like, I'm not going to tell you what to do, but I'm going to tell you this. If you do A, this is what it could happen. If you do B, this could happen. If you do C, this could happen. So now it's your choice, because you know that whatever decision you make is going to have a consequence.
Yeah.
So learn from your mistakes. If I made the choice and you have to pay the consequence, that will not be fair, right? So I'm going to tell you what are your options, and then you can make that choice, but always in a contained space to an extent, you know? So
Yeah.
I will always feel safe, and I will always know that he's giving me the best advice, but also allowing me to make the choice.
Yeah. And I think that we get it wrong also when we see a kid misbehave, right? When a kid misbehaves, many parents, what they think is that they need more connection with the child. And sometimes that may be true. Sometimes that may be the case. But what I have learned is that when a kid misbehaves, he just needs more structure. He needs more rules. He needs more guidance. So when think about it as the mind is so scattered sometimes. There are kids that their mind is very, very scattered and they're overwhelmed with the world. They're overwhelmed with emotion. They need from the outside a structure. They need you to be their structured part of the brain that they don't have right now. And it helps them, it gives them, as we said, that security, that stability, and that sense of safety. So if a kid misbehave, see where you can give them more structure. So I'll give you an example for this. My middle child is the one who he always like gives me trouble, I would say. My firstborn he's a very easygoing kid. He does what I say. He's very cooperative. And he never gave me any trouble with anything. I mean, maybe that can change, but up
Right?
until now, that's what happened. My second child is different. He bumps heads with me all the time and he doesn't want to do what I say. And I found that at the beginning, I was like, oh, he needs more connection with me. I'm going to give him more attention. I'm going to give him more love. I'm going to respect his emotions and name his emotions, all that. I did that. That didn't work. The only thing that happened is that he just just went deeper and deeper into that identity of victimhood that he had about himself. But once I've changed that, I told him, listen, and this is also a point about choices. You have a choice. You're choosing to behave this way and not this way, right? So we tend to think that our children are making bad decisions and it's not their choice, it's just their emotion taking over them, right? But I want to argue that they always have a choice. They have a choice to behave good and they have a choice to behave badly. So, and we need to tell them that. We need to show them that you chose this way and this is the consequence, as you said, but this was your choice. You could have chosen to behave differently.
Right.
So going back to the example with my middle child, what I did with him was very simple. With my older child, he was like, okay, get ready to go out to school. He would go up, get dressed, brush his teeth, get something to eat, and out the door. With my middle child, he was like, oh, what am I supposed to do? And I'm like, okay, go brush your teeth. Okay, go get something go get dressed. And also it was so hard for him to pick something to wear. What I did is just a list, very, very simple. You wake up in the morning, you brush your teeth, you put a snack in your bag, you go get dressed. But a very, very simple list. And it was just like magic. Because I gave him the agency. I
Right.
told them, this is the steps you need to follow, very structured. Now the responsibility is on you. You are
Right.
responsible, not me. I'm not responsible of getting you out the door. I'm just going to tell you what you need to do. And if he forgot to brush his teeth, if he didn't get dressed, I'm out the door. It's 8:30. We need to leave the house. And you're going to pay the consequence for that.
Right.
Right?
Right.
So these small things are so important to remember that our kids, they have agency, they have choice, they are powerful, they are not victims. um, they are not fragile. Our kids are able to deal with consequences, to deal with adversity, to deal with challenge, and we want them to know that themselves. So we want to give them opportunities to make the hard choice, not the easy choice. Although right now it's easier to do that, but always, as I said in the beginning, we always have in mind that end goal, that we know that there is a good choice and there is a bad choice. And I am the one who's going to be guiding you towards that because I am your leader. The parent is the leader. The parent
Right.
is the authority.
Well, 100%. I don't believe that parenting is a popularity contest. If my kid get mad at me for something, I might be doing something right, honestly. And
Yeah.
it's like I remember the first time, and I don't even use or allow the word hate in my house because I think it's a too powerful of a word. So I will teach my girls to say, I don't like this or I like this, and that's okay. And that goes with the positive attention and the negative attention. What I don't like when you throw a tantrum, because that's negative attention and I'm not gonna reward that attention. So you're gonna have to regulate yourself, or you're gonna have to come and talk to me and we can figure it out. But you throwing a fit in the middle of the street is just not gonna fly. I'm just gonna watch you. I'm never was the parent go, stop, okay, I'm gonna give you something so you stop. I didn't care what
Yeah.
people had to say around me. My kid is throwing a fit. Well, you know what? Look the other way. She's throwing a fit. And when she's over, we're gonna have a conversation. But I always try to meet them where they were. And I didn't care about being popular. So one time, my oldest daughter got mad at me about something. And she said to me, I hate you. And I was like, oh my goodness, I thought my world was over. I'm a bad mom. My kid hate me. Because, by the way, we're very different parents as we grow. I was not the
Yeah.
same parent with my older one that I am with my youngest one. So I was like in shock that she said that. When my second child, and probably because she heard her, said something like that to me, I turned around and I said, well, get over it. I didn't even was faced with it. But I was very consistent with my rulings. I was very consistent with my boundaries at home, and they knew. So if you're going to do something that is not aligned with the way I want to raise you, then there's going to be something happening, in the same way. If you want positive attention, if you do your bed, if you follow the list of the to-do list of every day, like I used to have stickers, so they would put a sticker next to the brushing the teeth and the doing their bed and putting the laundry in the hamper, which also taught them that we were a team. I don't work for you. We are a team in this home. We're all working in this home. I have some responsibilities, like I'm going to cook a meal for you, but you also have a responsibility helping in other things in the house. My kids started doing their laundry when they were 3, 4, and 6. Literally, my 2-year-old would separate things in my living room in colors, and then one would bend over and the other one would climb on top and push the button, and they knew what to do. And when they were very little, and people would come to my house and say, I can't believe you're making your kid do laundry. And I said, I'm not making my kid do laundry. I'm teaching her a skill.
Yeah.
So when they're older, they know what to do. And they also know that we are a team here, that I am part of the team. And yes, there are hierarchies. I am the head of the team, and you guys are the little helpers. But I do care what you have to say. I'm going to listen to you. I'm going to listen to your opinion. If I have to make a decision about moving to another neighborhood, or maybe they have to change school, I will sit with them and say, okay, guys, I was presented with this opportunity. It's going to be too far from me to commute to the work. So I'm thinking about moving closer. That means that you guys are going to have to change school. What do you think about it? And I would listen to them, and they would feel acknowledged. They would feel seen. They would feel that their opinion mattered, but they will also trust that the final decision was going to be mine, because they also knew that I was going to do what was best for all of us.
Yeah.
And that trust is built from the beginning. I
Yes.
never understand the parents that say,
hey mama, if you're feeling exhausted, overwhelmed, you have lost yourself in the chaos of motherhood, I see you, and you are not alone. I know how heavy it feels to be pulled in every direction, running on empty, and wondering why sometimes you just can't push through. But hear me when I say this. You are not failing. You're just caring too much, and it's okay to need support. I have worked with so many moms who feel the same way. That's why I created my coaching program, to help moms like you break free from burnout, get your energy back, and actually enjoy life again. Whether it's a one-on-one coaching, my transformational programs, I have options that fit your life. DM me Balance or visit my website to schedule a free discovery call. So let's figure it out together. All the links are in the description of this show. And now, back to the interview.
do what I say, not what I do. Because kids are watching us all the time. And we can tell them things until we are blue in our face. But if we don't walk the talk, they're going to do whatever they want to do. They're going to lie to us because they want to try to keep us happy and make us believe that they're doing what we're telling them. And they're going to get their information somewhere else, because that trust is not going to be there. They're not going to trust us because we're saying something and we're doing something else. So we're not reliable. They cannot trust that we're going to make the right choice for them.
Yeah, yeah. And you're talking about something very important here, because we have to remember that we are the authority figures, right, in the house. And nowadays there is this repulsion from the word authority, because people think that authority is authoritarian, is something that is bad. But actually authority, when you think about the word in Hebrew, the word in Hebrew is samchut. And the word samchut comes from the root letter of samach, which is to trust. And authority figure is somebody that you trust. It is somebody that you know that has the best for you in his mind. And when you are consistent with your rules, when you show them that you stand behind your words, when you show them that you're not only talking, you're also walking the talk, right? Then they know that you are a trustworthy figure for them, and they will just follow you.
Right.
It doesn't have there. You don't need force. You don't need punishments. You don't need to yell. You don't need to, make a big deal out of everything. You have this inner confidence inside of you that you know what is good, what is true, and you are living your values. You are living in integrity with what you preach and what you teach to your children. So they always know that they can trust you. You are a trustworthy figure that they can trust. And at the same time, a good leader is somebody that, as you said, listens to the people who are underneath him, right? Whether it's a leader in the army, whether it's a leader of a state, whether it's a leader in a company or a leader in a family, it's all the same thing. You have to be always open to listen to what the people underneath you have to say, because you want to be connected to their needs. You want to be connected to what they want, to what they think. But again, at the end of the day, after listening to all of that, you know that you are the one who makes the call.
Yeah.
And they have to know that too. They have to know that too. And they want that. That's the thing. Like, people think that maybe that is wrong, or maybe that's not letting our kids be who they are, right? But no, they want so badly
They
for
want the
somebody to
structure.
lead. They
Sometimes
wanted, yes.
I wonder, I mean, no judgment, but who's running your home?
Yeah.
3-year-old that is not even aware of his power?
He doesn't want to run the house.
No.
He doesn't want that. It's too confusing. It's too much for him. It's giving him power that he just cannot handle. And it lowers his self-esteem, actually. It doesn't build confidence.
And one of the things that I wanted to talk to you about, you being a foreigner like I am, and bringing your culture, to your home, and also teaching the kids not to listen to the outside noise, especially now, that there is so many people saying nasty things about Jewish people, that the world is so divided. And I experienced that too, being a Latin. People have misconceptions about Latin people. And I have taught my kids to be proud of their inherited, how you say that?
Inheritance.
Inheritance. So how do you manage that with your children now that they're going to school, now that they're outside of your house and you have no control? We want to keep them in a bubble so nobody hurt them. But unfortunately, other children listen to things at home, and then they come to school and they're mean, they're hurtful. What do you say to your kids when they come home and they say, this kid in school said this to me because of my religion, or because I am Israeli, or because you are a foreigner? How do you handle that?
Yeah. Well, I think that in my specific family, it's a little bit different, because first of all, we were homeschooling for a few years, and now we're in a community that is very much also kind of isolated from the world. It's like a homeschooling community. So our kids, for example, they don't have phones. Whereas kids outside, normally they have phones from age 6 or 7. So my kid is 11 years old. He doesn't have a phone, and I don't see any phone coming in the near future. So I do keep them kind of isolated from that space, and eventually they will be exposed more and more. But what I do want to say for people who do have their children exposed to everything on the outside, I think that as long as you have a very strong family, strong bond in the family, and you keep your values, and you're also proud of where you came from, right? So we are a very proud Israeli family. We listen to Israeli songs. We celebrate all the Jewish holidays. We show them how we are different from other people in a good way. We have a whole family tradition and family culture that makes them really want to be part of our family. It's fun being in our family because we have all of these traditions and things that we stand for. Though they have a really good understanding of who they are, where they came from, and what they stand for. And I think that as long as you have that in the family, that very strong foundation and that sense of being proud of who you are and where you came from, I don't think that from the out somebody is going to say something from the outside is going to rock their world so much. And
Right.
again, it has to be in a place where there is an open communication between you, because you may, if there isn't an open communication, it goes back to the point that we said before. You always have to have that open communication and hear what's going on for them, because then you kind of you recalibrate yourself. You
Right.
always have to recalibrate yourself. So you always have to have that open line of communication, so you will even know if something is happening for them or not. And if
Mhm.
something is happening for them, open it up for a conversation. It's a good opportunity. It's amazing. Anytime that a challenge like that arises, it's a blessing, because it's going to happen in the real world, right? They're going to go out
Right.
to the real world. They're going to deal with people who are think differently from them, who came from
Right.
different backgrounds, who think differently, who have different values, and they have to know what they stand for, and they have to know how to stand up to these people as well. So it's an amazing opportunity to teach them how to deal with a situation like that if it arises. It's a blessing.
I agree with you. I agree 100% with you, because I feel that every time we find or we get a bump in the road, it's an opportunity to get curious. I know my kids very well, but I am also continue to learning who they are every day. They're growing. I mean, my kids are adults, you're a little. And it was a whole experience for me when one of my daughters came back home to be with us for a period of time after a relationship finished. And I was looking at this woman in my kitchen. And I'm like, oh my goodness, she went to college at a young girl, and now she came back a woman, and she drinks her coffee differently now, and she likes different things. And I said to one of my daughters the other day, I didn't know you like pickles. And she looked at me and she goes, yeah, I like pickles. And I don't. And I never had pickles before because I never liked them. My husband is Jewish. He likes pickles. I don't. But I imagine always that my kids will be like me in that sense, because that's what I have taught them. But when you put them out in the world, they're going to learn things, and they're going to like other things, and they're going to be exposed to other things that they were not exposed to when they were living with me. So for me, it's a constant learning, and I love it. And I think that one of my biggest lessons were taught to me by my own kids.
For sure.
And
Yeah,
it's so beautiful. It's
it
so,
is. It's
so,
all these opportunities for learning
yeah,
and
yeah,
growing.
and
Yeah.
grow. So, how have your lives changed now that your kids are not at home?
Oh, it changed completely. So 2 years ago, we joined this homeschooling community, and it has been a blessing for all of us. The reason why I stopped homeschooling is because we moved to an area that is very, very remote
Mm-hmm.
and very far from everything. So every activity that I wanted to do with the kids, I needed to drive 30 or 40 minutes to.
Okay.
And that was just not something that I was willing to do anymore. And my oldest child, basically, it was more because of him, because he really wanted that social interaction more and more and more. And I wasn't willing to drive every day 34, 40 minutes to get him to a social interaction. So that was the main reason why we decided to join a community. And I was ready also. I was ready to have them in some place. I have So I have this really, really, really deep drive inside of me to do what I'm doing right now, which is my podcast and the parenting coaching and the workshops that I do. I feel like I really have this big mission to do in the world, and it's really I see it as a purpose of mine, and
Mm-hmm.
I needed the time to do it. I felt like it wasn't right for me anymore to be with home with my children, so I needed them to be outside. And ever since they have been there, everybody is really happy. I feel like everybody's needs are getting met. Sometimes for one kid, like for my younger child, sometimes it's a little bit too much. He needs more to be home, but again, I see it as a family. I see us as a whole. So somebody always maybe is sacrificing a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
But I know that at the end, even if sometimes it's hard for him, I trust that he can deal with it. I trust that he will grow from it. Of course, it's not easy. Maybe the best thing for him or that he wants right now is to be close to me every day, 24/7. But if it's not coming from a place that I am willing to give it, then it's not good.
Right.
So there has to be a balance. And even if somebody is sacrificing and he's enjoying there, he's having a blast. I know that he's safe. He has an amazing mentor, um, and he has good friends there. He's thriving.
Right.
So I feel like it has been such a blessing. It's been an amazing change for us, for everyone, for each one of the family members. So I'm really, really happy. And I feel like we found really a great balance between, on the one hand, they're learning, they have structure, they have the foundational skills,
Mm-hmm.
but on the other hand, they have so many other ways of learning. The little ones are out in the forest every day and they're playing. The little ones are outside all day, every day, even in the snow, which is amazing for them. The older ones get a little bit more of structure. They're learning a little bit. They're doing letters and numbers and basic academics. They
Mm-hmm.
also get 2 hours a day outside in the forest to play, still at age 6 and 7.
Right.
And then the older kids get a little bit more structure, but
Mm-hmm.
also it's a project-based learning. So every quarter they work on a different project. So it's hands-on project for us. So for example, right now they are renovating the third floor of the school. So the kids are involved in the renovation. They're involved in the planning, on ordering the things that they need,
Mm-hmm.
in nailing the nails, in measuring the floors, everything. They're involved from the beginning to the end. So they're learning, hands-on learning also, which is it's just amazing. It's an amazing environment. And what's also amazing about it is that the parents are involved in the school. So they have a co-working space for the parents.
Mm-hmm.
So the parent, if you want, you don't have to, but if you want, you can stay there all day. There is an area for parents with desks, so you can sit and work from there. And I do that 2 or 3 days a week. And that way I'm part of the community. And we also have events for the adults. Every Wednesday we get together, only the adults, and we talk about a lot of things. And it has just been a blessing for our family. It's been amazing.
So going through that transition from homeschooling your children and sending them now to a school and all the changes you went through, would you, if you could go back in time, would you do it differently or would you do it exactly how you did it?
I don't believe I would have done it differently because I really value the first few years. I think that up until age 3, a child really needs to be close to his parents
Mm-hmm.
physically, you know. It's not always possible, and there is no judgment here about parents who can't do that. But I'm really grateful that I had the opportunity to be there physically near my children until they were at age 3, which is a good age. And even it was a little bit younger for my little one. But I'm grateful that I was able to give that to him. I was able to give that to all of them, give them that foundation that they need, and to create that safe attachment, that secure attachment that they need, to really thrive. I nursed my little child. I nursed up until 2 weeks ago, and he's almost 4.
Wow.
I truly believe in the importance of that initial attachment. They say that, I think this is according to something somewhere in the Hebrew Bible. I don't know exactly from where, but they say that a child is his mother's until he weans, and then he's his father's. And when he gets to age 13, he's God's.
Oh, that's beautiful.
It is beautiful. And I think, the weaning age now, it's much younger. But I think that the weaning age when this phrase was written was probably around 4 or 5, which was the natural time when kids were weaned. So I do believe that it's really good to have that really close physical bond and attachment with our children as much as we can when
Right.
they're little, and then gradually we let them go. We expose them to the world and let them see who they are, right? Let them know what they're capable of, and bring out their strength. And it's a good thing. It's a really, really good thing.
And trust that whatever we taught them is going to go with them, and they're going to make good choices.
Yeah, trust in them.
Yeah, trust in them. That's so important. I'm so happy you were in the show. I can ask you a million more questions. I enjoy talking about parenting with you. I do. I want everybody to go and listen to your podcast. If you want to learn more about Efrat, go. If you want to learn more about parenting, if you have questions for her, I am going to have all your links in the description of the show. Is there anything else you would like to add?
Beautiful. No, I mean, if my message is something that talks to anybody who is listening, I dive really deep in all these ideas in my podcast. I have solo episodes and also interviews with people. In my solo episodes, I really dive deep into each one of these ideas and kind of break them apart, and give like the philosophical reasons behind my ideas, or why I've come to believe what I believe today as a parent. Yeah, so if you want to learn more, check my podcast. I also I'm offering a new workshop, which is called Becoming the Leaders Our Kids Need Us to Be. So anyone who wants to organize a group, I would be happy to come and lead a workshop for you.
Great. Thank you so much, Efrat. I love you dearly.
Thank you so much too.
Thank you all for listening to the Don't Shrink to Fit podcast. If you like this episode, please write a juicy comment below and subscribe to my podcast. Remember, we can only fly if we embrace each other. Until next week, be happy, be safe, and be kind to yourself.